Welcome back to the Holosky podcast, listener edition. We are your hosts. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And listener edition, listener experience, I should say. That means it's Thursday Holocult, so we're almost through that work week. Thanks for choosing to hang out with us today on this fine Thursday. We'll get through the business and then we'll jump right into it. So check us out at all our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Search up the Holosky podcast and you'll find us there. Come be part of the community, join the cult. It's a good time. Just a cool thing to do. If you have a paranormal encounter or experience that you'd like to share with the show that we could feature on a future episode of this very platform, this very show that we put on Thursdays, Kyle's got some information that you're going to want.
I do. It's pretty easy. It's always and forever going to be in the show notes. And from there, all you have to do is write your story out in an email and then hit the send button to our email. And then we'll get it, file it, and then we're going to talk about it on a show. And you're going to be stoked.
You will be stoked. It'll be a good time all around. If you'd like to support this fabulous escapade we have going on here, there's plenty of ways you can do it. You can hop over to the Patreon, check it out. There's almost 50 extra bonus episodes over there. You get early drops on episodes, you get ad-free episodes, all kinds of good stuff over there. Casket Breath music. There are some coupons that drop over there every once in a while to our store. Speaking of store, go to holoskypodcast.com. We got a store over there. Tons of merch. We got t-shirts, hats, stickers, all kinds of good stuff. If you want to rep the Holocult via some swag, definitely do that. Best thing you can do is share the show word of mouth. Always put us out there. Always drop us in links, drop us in comments, wherever you can. If people are talking about weird shit, throw our name in the hat. You can also leave us a 5-star rating and review, which I shout out on our Monday regular show. So you could be Holocult famous if you leave us a 5-star rating and review. It's pretty cool. That being said, we're going to jump right into today's listener experience. Again, I should note that I'm not really doing these in chronological order, so this could have came from, I don't know, 45 years ago. Maybe not, but
It probably did.
It probably did. Yeah, we're going to get into that. So this listener experience for this week comes to us from our friend Peter. It's titled Paranormal Precursor to Tragedy. Interesting.
That's ominous.
Yeah. It starts out, "Hi, my name is Peter. I'm from Holland, and I would like to share a paranormal event that I witnessed together with 3 of my friends. So we were on a fishing trip near Oslo in Norway in the month of May of the year 2011. We thought we'd rented a nice bungalow at a local hotel. Unfortunately, and much to our surprise, we had rented a crummy apartment. There was broken glass everywhere, burn marks on the floor from a broken electrical heater. It was definitely dilapidated. There was even a black light in the kitchen. I think it was installed to spot blood stains from butchering wildlife." Wow. This was a real hunter/fisherman cabin, all right. But hey, we're fishermen. We mostly care about a good fishing spot. However, on top of that, we started to witness some strange goings on throughout our week. On the first night, we were drinking a few beers, and it was getting kind of late, and I was getting ready to go to bed. All of a sudden, I got a strong feeling that I was being watched. I even told this watcher to piss off. Really strange feeling. But hey, I wrote it off to me being tired, so I just decided to go to bed. The next day, we went fishing. We were driving our boats on the lake near some islands, trying to catch some northern pike. One of these islands is called Utoya. Please remember this name. The next day, I woke up and I had a very painful lump on the back of my head. I thought it was probably just a mosquito bite or something, but I hadn't seen any mosquitoes. Oh well, I just wrote it off. However, things started to get a lot stranger. That evening, we heard some noises in the apartment, but thought nothing of it. Yet, the next day, we returned from fishing and left our tackle boxes open in the hallway to let our fishing lures dry, because rusty hooks are not good. At a certain moment, All four of us were talking in the living room, and all of a sudden, one of our lures makes a strange rattling sound in the hallway. We looked at each other and ran to the hallway to see who was there and if anyone was trying to steal our fishing equipment, but nobody was. So we said, "This place is really, really something else," and just kind of laughed it off. But it got worse. That night, I could not sleep and started to look up at the ceiling and thought, "Is that a shadow moving?" And then I thought, "My God, is this a ghost or something? I'm not even going to look at it anymore. I'm just going to close my eyes and go to sleep. This can't be real." This was before I knew what a shadow person was. The last day, we heard three loud knocks on the door. We said, "Screw this place, we're out of here." Fortunately, the next house guest made these knocking sounds. We nervously started laughing. You had us going, but all four of us really did not like this place. Something was off. It did not feel right, but we could not place it. Weeks later, we were shocked. Back in Holland on the 22nd of July, we saw breaking news on the TV. A terrorist named Breivik had killed 70 people on the island of Utola that we had been fishing near. Most of them were killed with shots to the head. Survivors took shelter in the same hotel that we were in. What the fuck? I think this was some kind of paranormal prequel to this tragedy. R.I.P. Could shadow people be a sign of bad things to come? See you later, guys. Thanks for the awesome podcast. Your friend, Peter. Oh man. First off, Peter, thanks for taking the time to send in that encounter. It's definitely strange. It almost gives me some like Odd Thomas vibes. If anybody reads Dean Koontz or has watched the movies, where Thomas basically can see the dead, and these shadow people, or shadow entities, I should say, they're not people. Whenever he sees them conglomerating in a specific area, he's come to learn that something very tragic is going to happen in that area. So as if he sees one or two just out and about, he doesn't think much of it. But if he starts to see them in huge groups, he knows that something horrible is going to take place. So there may be something to that.
The movie was good. I enjoyed the movie, but I want to point out, whenever he heard the fishing lure make the strange noise in the hallway, isn't it funny how our brains will react? Because he wrote how they both ran in there to see if anybody was stealing their lures.
Yeah.
It's funny how our brains will go down that avenue first.
Yeah.
Of just thievery.
Or like, I guess it's essentially like the most human thing we can think of. Like, we put that first, like kind of in the same vein. Like, you don't think anything paranormal, you immediately think it's a person fucking around doing something.
You're right. But it's also interesting how he was having these occurrences, especially when you look at it from, if you step back, because I don't know much about shadow people being omens and stuff like that. But when you step back and look at it for what it is, typically speaking, whenever a person deals with a haunting, what's the first emotion they feel? Is fear.
Yeah.
Right. So it almost makes you feel like, not that it is, but it almost makes you feel like this entity could see something was coming, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just scare these guys," and then they'll leave.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, it's like,
because it's the first emotion you're going to feel in those situations is fear, and you're going to most people are going to want to leave.
Yeah, and I'm curious as to whether or not there were any more encounters from people in the area, in the hotel, prior to the tragedy, that had any sort of experience with whatever these entities were. If it is a commonplace, like if the area is known to be haunted, or if it was just a precursor to this attack that maybe this was just the beginning. Like this was just the start of whatever these entities are conglomerating on the area, you know?
And imagine what that, like, think about what that entails too. If it is true, that whether it's the entities came together like an Odd Thomas, or which that's a little bit more sinister and easier to explain. But if it is just a benign entity that's there, and then it somehow can sense or see or experience the future. I mean, I guess I do understand that from a different perspective, time isn't linear like we view it. So maybe everything's happening at once where they're at, you know, and they took it upon themselves to try to save these guys that were there. I don't know, but it's weird, the implications of what that would mean for an entity, shadow person, spirit with like a precog ability. You know, it's crazy.
It saying that kind of has my brain turning a little bit here. What if whatever the entity was the spirit of one of the victims, you know, coming back to try to warn those guys of what's going on, especially if time is not functioning the way that we perceive it. So, I mean, it could, what's saying that it's not one of the people that were victims of the tragedy?
Yeah.
Coming back to say, hey, shit's about to hit the fan in a week or two. You guys need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. You know, especially when you run in conjunction with the old boy who would you know, he was ghost hunting and was able to talk to one from the future, essentially.
Thought that he was a ghost.
Yeah.
Thought that the alive person that what we consider alive was actually the spirit channeling through the Ouija board.
Yeah.
I was also
it's crazy.
I was also going to touch on the attack a little bit if people are not familiar with it. It was one of probably the worst attacks perpetrated by a single person, probably at least in our generation. This monster named Anders Breivik, he first detonated a car bomb in the city of Oslo as a distraction. With that in itself took 8 lives, as all the police and everyone congregated on that central area of the attack, which also injured hundreds of people. He dressed up into a police uniform that he had gathered and kind of created on his own. And there was a summer youth camp going on the island of Utoya, where there were hundreds of youths on this island. The only way to get to the island was from a ferry. So as he pulls up to the guard shack that runs the ferry, he had fake identification, his fake police uniform on. They immediately thought, he said, hey, there was an attack in Oslo. I'm coming over to protect the kids. Ferried him over, and he was there by himself with all those kids for the next hour plus, and just went person to person, just methodically eliminating people.
I hope that motherfucker has no mercy where he's at.
Yeah, same.
Zero. Absolute fucking zero. Same. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it was absolutely fucked.
That is some of the worst shit you could possibly hear.
Yep.
And I feel for Peter, because he just narrowly missed that.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insanity, dude.
Crazy.
It's insanity. Not to mention, I mean, I'm not going to bring it up, but the repercussions from that are devastating. Even for, I'll say, even for Peter now, in this moment, his psyche could still be fractured.
Oh yeah, it has to weigh on you that you narrowly escaped that massacre.
Yeah.
And I kind of see why he pointed out the weird knot in the back of his head, the painful lump,
Yeah.
because this guy was walking around executing people
that way.
You can only imagine. It's weird. It could very easily have been a warning, a precursor, possibly from one of the spirits that were one of the people's lives that were taken from that day.
Dude, in that retrospect, I mean, it could be. I mean, that it could have been a warning. It could have been that. I don't know, because I don't know if Peter and them had plans on staying up to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because in a roundabout way, what if that was his destiny? That's why he felt that in the back of his head.
Mm.
And then this thing was like, if I can save one, I'll save one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird too. I just connected in my brain.
Or like you said, it could have been like its way of saying, this is what's going to happen. You need to leave.
Yeah, and the fact that they were at the same people hid in the same hotel that they were in is fucking crazy.
That's nuts, dude. It's I don't know. I hate ultra devastating news like that because it's so disgusting and disturbing and
makes you lose
haunting.
faith in people. But it makes you lose faith in a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
Knowing that people are capable of that sort of devastation just because.
Yeah. Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah.
None. I don't know. It's disturbing, and I'm glad that Peter made it out of there.
Yeah.
Without any tragedy, but the fact that it still took place it's disheartening, it's disturbing, it's disgusting. I don't know. Like you said, it makes you question humanity, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm very pro-human, but not all humans.
Yeah.
Throw that the fuck out there.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
The fact that one person can commit an act that just sends ripples through so many lives, through time and space and existence, just out of whatever fucked up shit he has going on in his head. Just because is bonkers.
Yeah. And there's no, I mean, I don't even care. There's no excuse for it at all. No. It doesn't matter what you went through. I don't fucking care. Give me any excuse out there and I will never have pity for you.
Yep. Same.
Ever. You cannot justify that at all whatsoever.
100%. Millions of people go through fucked up shit and don't do fucked up shit.
Exactly.
That's what it boils down to.
Oh, that's 100% true. I mean, there's no way around it. You just don't do those types of things.
Yeah.
I don't know, especially to fucking children. Children should never, ever, 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 ever be hurt, ever.
Yeah, because I mean, the youth camp was for like the let me find it, some political laborist party or something. So obviously there was probably politics tied into his fucked up reasoning.
Yeah, still not a good enough excuse.
No, not at all.
Not for children,
but
not for anybody.
Like, he essentially attempted to wipe out a generation.
Yeah.
Connected to, I can't even remember, some laborist party, whatever it was, which is fucking nuts.
It's crazy. Like you said, it's mind blowing that people can even come to that conclusion that this is what I'm going to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's the camp was organized by the UAF, the youth wing of the ruling Norwegian Labour Party. Crazy.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Human monsters are probably the worst monsters.
I agree.
But back to the encounter there. Yeah, man, I don't I don't know. I feel like that would weigh on me heavy.
Oh, absolutely.
To especially just to be there with your buddies fishing at the island, because he said we went to Utoya, and then by the time you get home, you're just kind of starting getting in the swing of things, getting off your vacation. It's plastered all over the news that that amount of tragedy taking place in the same spot.
Yeah, your time spent there is almost joyous, and then just right afterwards is nothing but sheer tragedy.
Yeah, because that plays. I mean, the youth group, the kids that were there, were probably experiencing the same stuff: fishing, swimming, just fucking chilling,
being kids.
Yeah, one person comes in and just changes the course of everything.
That's the truth.
It's crazy.
For a lot of people, it changes history damn near.
Yeah. Just causes ripples throughout generations. It's nuts. Wow, that was a dark one. We're going to reel it back in. Well, Peter, we're glad that whatever this was, if it was a warning, if it was a precursor, you took heed and didn't decide to stay there an extra week. That's for sure. Also, our heartfelt condolences to all the victims in the bombing and the shooting, everything that took place there. You don't really have words for that kind of devastation. So our condolences.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you sending that in, Peter. Definitely a thought-provoking experience. A lot of different trails kind of lead back to the same thing, that maybe instead of trying to scare you, this thing was just trying to warn you and get you out of the area because it knew what was coming. That being said, again, if you have a listener experience you'd like for us to share on a future episode of our Thursday shows right here, the listener experience episode, you can send it to the email. It's in the notes. Kyle told you how to do it in the beginning of the show. So thanks again, Peter. And until we meet again, check us out on all our social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Come and kick it with us. Till then, stay safe, stay weird, and maybe heed a little more mind than to your next paranormal encounter. Maybe they're not just there to scare you. They're trying to leave you little notes about what's to come.